All right, guys, today the plan is kind of simple. We're experimenting. We're trying out this preserved Asian carp cut bait. I got some of this stuff in the mail to try out. I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna try it out besides some chicken today. See how it performs. We know chicken pretty much works on these reservoirs. May try it side by side with some perch. I've got some in the tank. And it's cold today. It's about 41 degrees. Water temperatures are still in the 50s, but barely about 51, 52 degrees. We're gonna anchor up. Gonna put out some of this Asian carp bait on the green Hellcat rods, and then on the Big Cat Fever trolling rods, we're gonna put out some chicken. So let's see if anything's gonna bite in this cold weather. Got a couple of these Hellcats I'll put on the bottom with just a Carolina rig. Try it out here and see if this stuff will work. It does come in this resealable bag. It's just got a Ziploc style top on it. Not something I would lay in the floor of your car for a long time. Funny, it doesn't smell like horribly bad. I'm gonna go with some smaller pieces. I just want to see if we can get fish to bite it more than anything. There we go. We'll try that, get that out there. Said, I don't know if they add anything to it. It feels very oily. That hook through there. Let's hook it through that part. Not a huge piece, not a small piece. A little bit in between. Got it on a hooker's terminal tackle circle hook. I'm gonna chunk a couple on the bottom, a couple on some Santee rigs. Let's see if these fish eat it. Again, these are Carolina rigs, which basically means you've got your main line. That's this yellow Andy monofilament, 30 pounds, going to a swivel. And then goes to my leader, which is Andy monofilament also, but it's about 50 pounds. I've got a sinker slide on here that I like. You can put a line on, or a sinker on your main line. But I like using these sinker slides so you can swap these sinkers out. If I wanted to use a bigger sinker, take that sinker off, I could do that with that slide. A little smaller piece on here. No excuse they won't need it. Stuff's kind of tough. I like it. It's just fan casting out around the boat, a few different directions. See what's back here. Now this is a small reservoir. I don't fish it a lot. I know they're catfish in here. They're blue catfish, flatheads, and channel catfish. It's relatively small. I think it's about 5,000 acres. So decided to fish it today. It's got clear water. It's below one of our largest lakes. It had fresh, clear water coming into it. We've had some rain recently. It's kind of muddy. Mike's been up and down on some other lakes. So I figured if nothing else, I'd ride up here and at least experiment around with this stuff. It's like I always say, guys, one trip doesn't make a affirmative test on how something works, but it will give you some clues if it will work. All right, guys, I may have a fish on the red reel here. We're gonna see. Doing something. It's either dragging a log. Nope, that's a fish. Got a head shake. First fish. I anchored in that spot for about 45 minutes or an hour. Never got bit. Never had a rod move. So I decided to come out here and do some dragging. Pulling some baits. Same spread. I got chicken on the white rods. These Big Cat Fever medium light trolling rods, and over on the Hellcats I've got out the cut bait. This fish obviously is on a piece of chicken. Might be a decent fish, can't tell. It was a weird bite, not very aggressive. I just looked up and seen the rod kind of twitching and moving. Oh yeah, nice blue cat. A little bit. Oh, got a second rig. Oh, look at this. He actually stop. There we go. All right. He's on the, all right, so the carp bait rig got wrapped up in it. That's what ended up happening. Yeah, he's on chicken. Good fish. Nice healthy blue cat. Wintertime, cold water. Well, we're back in 53-degree water here. Warmed up a little bit out here in the deeper part. Back alive. All right, guys, got one in the boat. That was on chicken. Yeah, I had to move to drift, and I didn't get bit back there. Water was cooler. Still clear, though. I marked a few fish. Wasn't covered. Of course, none of this lake is covered in fish. There's very few places I pull up to out here and go, man, there are fish everywhere. It gets a lot of clean water flushed through it, so that's the one good thing. I wanted to fish some clean water to give this stuff a test, and the first fish came on chicken. So I got my lines back situated, everything out, got a good spread, making a big long pull across this relatively flat bowl here in this creek arm. I'm gonna try this creek arm for a while. The creek arm stuff is what has been working on some other lakes I've fished. may be totally different here, but it's my starting point. As I always say, when I go to a new body of water, you either start deep and go shallow, or start shallow and go deep. And the shallower water is what has been working where I've been fishing. So I started in the back of the creek, and I'm working my way out to the main channel, and we'll adjust from there. But a beautiful day. Winds died down. Still cold, you know, low 40s for the temps, but beautiful clear skies. If you watched any of my recent videos, there's been a lot of cloudy days, man. It's been looking like Seattle, and it's nice to be back here in some clear skies to do some of this winter fishing. I feel like we can get some more fish through here. Gonna make a good long pull. After that, I'll pull up and run somewhere else. Massive takedown right here, guys, on this chicken rod, my red reel. Hit it like a freight train. Of course, medium light rods, it really looks violent when they hit it, but it's a good hit. Been about 30 minutes since the last fish, making a pull across here. Wind shifted on me about 45 degrees. It's making my original direction a little bit harder to stay on, but we can deal with that. It's a good bite. It's a real good bite. There we go. Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's a medium light rod here. Catch the fever. It's a trolling rod. I love them on guide trips. They're very forgiving, especially when you get those angry head shakes. I'm gonna have to net this one. Feels like a nettable fish. Happy to get bit, man. Happy to get bit. There he is. There he is. Let's fire that fish for some cool water. Got him in the net. Whoo. Sadly, it's on chicken. I hadn't got one yet on the cart. Good look at him. Heck yeah. Pretty blue cat. Eating some chicken. There we go. Just got to weight on it real quick. 14 pounds. A little bit bigger than I thought. That's a good thing. We'll take him. Biggest thing is we're going to put it back alive so you can catch it. All right, guys, there's fish number 2, right at 14 pounds. Came on chicken. Been about, man, like I said, about 30 minutes since I caught the last fish. Maybe a little bit longer. Wind shifted a little bit. I may make another pull across here. I'm kind of getting blown up into a creek cove here. I'm gonna drag it as long as I can until I bump into some docks. There's a few fish in here. They're scattered. Like I said, I don't mark a lot on my sonar here, man. It can be tough. There are places where you can see fish and they start to stack up. At least in this creek arm I'm working, I haven't marked a ton of fish. I'm debating whether I reset and come across here one more time or go to a different part of the lake. I've caught 2 fish. It's not exactly bad. Like I said, not on fire as far as the bite goes. Nothing on the Asian bait yet. Again, you can't judge a product, a lure, a hook by one fishing trip and catching 2 fish. So we'll give it some time here, see if we can put some more in the boat, see if we can catch some on this stuff. Got one on the carp bait, guys. I actually did not knock my reel into gear, and it was sitting there. It wasn't free spooling, but it wasn't totally in gear. Luckily, the tension was a little bit high, but this thing is going to be a long ways out there. You're going to get to see me reel for a while here. That one's way, way back. Ancient Mariner reel. 30-pound Andy monofilament line. This is the monster, and a Hellcat medium action rod. The Hellcat medium action is a perfect rod for reservoir fishing, areas where you're not chunking super big amounts of weight or in heavy current. The good news is they make them in heavier versions. They make a heavy, medium heavy, and I think an extra heavy. I've got some, saving them for a trip to the James River. Maybe the Mississippi if I ever get out there. Oh, another nice fish. Another nice one. There you got him. Got one on the carp bait. What he weighs. We're right at 13. Nice fish. Nice fish. Male, got that big mouth, long body. Nice one. We'll take him, a little bite mark there. Coming on the carp though. Get him back alive so you can catch him. Well, guys, the question you may be asking is, why would you want to use a packaged bait like this? Why not use something fresh? To be honest, there's a lot of times people don't have the opportunity to go catch fresh bait. They may decide last minute, hey, I want to go fishing, and they want something quick, easy. they can put on the hook. And if something like this works, something like this is productive, it's a great option. It's a great option for people to have. So that's why I'm kind of giving it a test here. The other thing is, let's be honest, Asian carp are an invasive species. So if there's a way to find that we can actually use them and utilize them, this is a great option for helping to get rid of some of these invasive fish. The one thing I have been hearing from a lot of guys in areas that have Asian carp is the catfish have figured out their food source, and the catfish are eating them. This stuff is pretty interesting. It has a smell, but it's not a bad smell. It's not a fishy smell. It's very oily. It's very greasy. It almost reminds me of skipjack. I don't know if something's added to it or not. It's not something that smells like it's old or aged. Whatever preservation process they're using is working pretty good. So we'll see if we can stick some more fish on it. Right there, guys. That is definitely a fish. Outside planer on the chicken. Good take back too. That was a nice bite. Made another pull across this same big bowl where I caught those other two fish. Reset a little bit of a different angle. Got a pretty good ways here. And just now got bit. Covered a pretty good bit of water. Like I said, I don't mark a lot on the sonar here, man. It can be tough. If you were coming in here to mark fish and fish, you wouldn't fish here. Kind of did it as almost a prospecting drag, just to go through here and see what's in here. So one thing about anchoring, you do the same thing anchoring. You just have to pull up anchors every 30, 45 minutes and move, and I didn't feel like doing that. You do the same thing on the bank. The great thing about this place is there's a lot of bank access, and you can move down the bank and try stuff. The thing on this lake is there's not a lot of difference, or at least in this part of it, not the whole lake. There's not a lot of real change where I'm at. It's like a giant bowl in here. This fish may be wrapped too. He feels way heavier than he looks. Oh, he's in the planer board. That don't help any. That don't help. Now we're pulling a planer board in a line. As I tell people on guide trips, planer boards will help keep your lines from getting tangled sometimes. Boom. And you guessed it, on chicken. Good looking fish. Eating the chicken, guys, eating the chicken. Gonna get it back alive so you can catch it. So what's my take on the bait after using it for a day? Well, one thing is it stays on the hook. The skin on it's pretty tough. When it's on there, it's on there. This is not a bait that's going to get plucked off the hook very easily. The other thing is it's very oily. It's your hands feel slick after touching it. I don't know if that is naturally the way this carp is, or if that is something that's added to it. If it's added to it, there's not a really bad smell. I was using the just original formula, whatever you want to call it. Nothing was added to it. I think they make some that have some garlic and some other stuff added to it for scent, but this one was plain. It was not a nasty smell to it. So as far as dealing with something that's pleasant compared to like some of the manufactured baits, the stink baits, this is not like that. This stuff smells pretty decent. And the biggest thing is there's a lot of it in the package. I tried to put fresh bait on every stop I made today to give this thing as much of an advantage as possible. I got a lot of bait left over. So the cool thing about it is I think you can just close the bag back up, reseal it. I'm gonna put it in a cooler and keep it cool. It doesn't say that you have to do that. So in one pack, there's a pretty good bit of bait. Unless you're throwing out great big giant pieces, you know, I think you could get a lot of fishing out of one pack. Especially if you have a slow bite as we had today. It was slow today. Don't know what was up. Part of it's winter, part of it's this lake. This lake is not known for having a lot of fish. There are good times and bad times on this place. A lot of it is current driven, and depends if they're moving water. No water moving that I could tell, so it kind of is what it is. In the end, it was 3 on chicken, 1 on the cut bait, the carp. So again, like I've said before, one day of fishing doesn't make a complete test. So I'm going to try some more, try it out in some other places and see how it performs and see if it stays close and see if it's a good option for you guys to use.